This video is about understanding the musical alphabet and how to apply it to your instrument. This is one of the first and most important skills for beginning musicians to master. You'll need this skill for almost everything you do, from tuning to learning new songs, jamming with other musicians, everything really. We're about to perform a series of exercises that will help you master this skill. So you're going to want to have some blank sheets of paper, sharp pencils, lots of a good eraser ready to go. And yeah, let's get started. So you're going to be doing a lot of this kind of work to learn your musical alphabet. So you want your paper, your pencils, your big eraser ready to go. I'm going to use a permanent marker just so that it will show up in the video. So our musical alphabet, it's just like the regular alphabet, except we only use 7 letters. So copy me, exactly. We're going to write a big capital A. And then we're going to go to the space of our finger, write a capital B. Now try and copy me exactly when we do these things, because we might end up using the whole page on some of these exercises, so placement's important. Now our next letter, of course, is C, but C is going to be right up next to B. We're not going to leave any space there. Now for C, we're going to leave a space. So now we're going to have a D. Now we're going to have another space, and our next letter, of course, will be E. Now F is going to crowd right next to E. You'll learn why in a minute. Our next letter is G. And of course, music teachers love this question. What comes next? H? No, we don't have H in music. After G, we just start over again on A. This A sounds higher than this A, but it's called A. So on that note, let's go over to the piano. The reason we're taking our musical alphabet to the piano is because it's a great instrument to really understand the musical alphabet on. So people who don't play piano, they still use the piano to understand their instrument. So let's look at this pattern. First of all, notice how there's 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys. This is a pattern that really shows us what's going on. Now this first one, there's a black key all by itself, but really what you're looking at is the last one in this group of 3. So they just happen to start there, that's all. So I got my erasable pen here, so I can just write the letters on here for you. The first note on the piano is A. And then we have B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to keep going. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, of course it's going to be A again. It just keeps going. Repeats over and over again. So here's the deal. B and C, the reason they're right next to each other is because there's no black key in between them. So when you play a B, C is very much, it's the next note. And then E and F, same thing. There's nothing in between them. They're actually closer together than the other notes. When you play a C and then you play a D, well, you're skipping this black note. So they are actually farther apart. So the reason these black notes are separated out, well, they have different names that we're going to learn later. So right now, we just want to know the alphabet. That's where you start. Let's keep it simple before we make it confusing. And basically, you want to get real good at this. A to B, and then B to C. Those are close together. B and C are buddies. C to D, though, we're skipping a black key. D to E, yep, we're skipping something. E to F, we're not. That's the pattern. the notes get higher and higher. A, B, C, D, E. So as you go up the alphabet, the notes get higher. So in music, you gotta know the alphabet forwards and backwards, because what if you want to go lower? G. How do you go lower? What's the lower note? Well, it's F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So it's only 7 letters of the alphabet, but you want to know it forwards and backwards. And you need to be real quick with the idea that every note to every other note, you're skipping something, except B and C are buddies, E and F are best friends. That's the quick way to do this. Sure, you want memorization, but you also want to understand it. You want both. Now that we've looked at the musical alphabet on paper and on the keyboard, let's apply it to some fretted instruments. Now, whether you play guitar, ukulele, mandolin, banjo, bass guitar, the pattern's going to be the same on all of these. You just have to know the tuning of your instrument. So whatever you play, follow along, even if I don't have your instrument right now. I'm going to take you through a few instruments. So this is tenor ukulele with the tuning G, C, E, A. So that's a standard tuning for ukulele. I'm going to start with the A string, the one closest to the floor. Now, guitar has an A string, a mandolin has an A string, so you can follow along with those instruments. But just try to see the pattern for now. I'm going to start with the open string, which I just said was A. And if you remember from the keyboard and from the piece of paper we wrote on, there's a space between A and B. Well, each fret represents a note in our series. If the open string is A, then this first fret would be that mystery note. This first fret would be that black key on the piano in between A and B. So that means the second fret would be B. So here's A. Now I'm going to play the second fret, that's B. Now remember, B and C are buddies. There's nothing in between them. So the very next fret, fret number 3, is going to be a C. Now between C and D we have a space, so I'm going to skip a fret. So I'm going to go from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. That will be my D. And from the 5th fret I'm going to go to my 7th fret. That's my E. Now E and F, they're best friends. There's nothing between E and F. So I'm going to go from 7 to 8, the very next fret, and that will be my F. Now I'm going to skip one to go to G, and I'm going to skip one to go to A. Now remember, this is the A string. We started on A. Most guitars and ukuleles and banjos have a marker on the 12th fret. This is what we call the octave. It's when you return to the same letter you started on. Low A, high A. So as you do these, just make sure when you get to the 12th fret, which usually has a marker, usually a double dot even, that you're returning to the letter you started on. So now we'll apply this pattern to a mandolin. On mandolin, my highest sounding string, the one closest to the floor, is an E. So is guitar. Guitar, the E string is closest to your toes. On ukulele, it's the second closest to the floor. So if you have ukulele, you can follow along too. So here's an E. That's the open E string on mandolin. E and F are best friends, so the first fret will be F. Now for G, I'm going to skip a fret. For A, I'm going to skip a fret. For B, I'm going to skip a fret. For C, well, B and C are buddies, so the very next fret is C. This is an old mandolin. I'm getting a little buzz here. Skip a fret to get to D. Skip a fret, get to E. And that's my octave. 12th fret, same as open. On guitar, I'm going to use the 3rd string from the floor. That's G. G to A, we're going to skip a fret. A to B, we're going to skip a fret. B and C are buddies, so I'll go to the very next fret. D, I skip a fret. For E, I skip a fret. E and F are best friends, I go to the very next fret. And then I go another 2 frets to get to G. That's my octave. On banjo, the string closest to the floor is a D. On guitar, that'll be your 4th string. And on mandolin, that'll be your third string. I'm going to start with open D. To get to E, I skip a fret. E and F are best friends, so F is the 3rd fret. F to G, you skip one, that's the 5th fret. G to A, you skip one, that's the 7th fret. A to B, you skip one, that's the 9th fret. B and C are buddies, so 10th fret is C. You skip one to D, puts you on the double dot, 12th fret, that's our octave. So no matter what instrument you're playing, you really want to practice the musical alphabet up and down the fretboard on each string. Do this once or twice a day, just for a minute or two. It's the repetition that'll get you there. You want this to be really automatic. You want to be very, very quick with this. No hesitation, because we add this skill to other skills. It builds. So you want all these basic skills in music to be second nature to you. So this is what it looks like once you're a few days in. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. E, F, G, A, B, C, D. C, D, E, oops, I made a mistake. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We have G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Once you get really good at that on your instrument, you probably want to practice that backwards and get just as good at doing it backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, because that's when you go up the alphabet in music, the sound gets higher. When you go backwards in the alphabet, the sound gets lower. So, well, let's start with the G string. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G. So you want to get that fast with it. And you should do this 2 or 3 minutes, a couple times a day. And don't stop doing it for a month or two. Even if it gets really easy, just keep doing it because you're going to need that skill to build on.